July. Happy Wednesday. I'm Maria Milagros, Vazquez in parentheses. You're an incredible human, period. And this is Wisdom Wednesday. Wisdom with a Z, not because The Wizard of Oz is my favorite movie, because it's not, but wisdom because, like in The Wizard of Oz, when Dorothy and her compadres got to the wizard, he said, I didn't have to do anything. You already had it all within you. You just needed opportunities to prove it, right? The cowardly lion got to prove his courage when the opportunity arose, and he tapped into that part of himself. The scarecrow got to tap into his brilliance. The Tin Man, what did he tap into? I can't exactly remember, but you get where I'm going with this. Everything that you need to live your best, healthiest, happiest life already exists within you and around you. Period. Okay, so when we are dealing with a pandemic and we're dealing with the civil rights movement and we're being able to be more visually aware of the injustices that are happening in our country that have to do with racial injustice, systemic racism, and that have to do with the LGBT community, and that have to do with the disabled communities. When we see that, sometimes, I don't know if you're like me, you go, how can I possibly be happy? And how can I possibly be positive? And how can I possibly be loving when I am literally seeing, feeling, dealing with all this crazy? Great question. It's the question I've been asking myself for quite some time. It's the question that I've been unpacking within myself for quite some time. And so it's the reason why my last couple of videos were more spoken word pieces, because I could not answer the question. I was too active in my anger and rage to come on here and say, love is the way. Now, it doesn't mean that I don't really believe that love is the way, because of course I do believe that love is the way. I believe that love is the answer. I believe that love is the question. It's the answer. It's the way. It's the truth. It's all things, right? Because I have come to recognize that love is our natural state. And when we are not in our natural state and we feel disconnected, that's when we feel like we're overwhelmed, we feel broken, we feel sad, we feel lonely, we feel unhappy, we feel depressed, because we are not rooted in, connected to our natural state of love. There was a quote that I have been sitting on for the past couple of days, and it is by the Dalai Lama, and he said, the purpose of life is to be happy. And again, I'm like, how exactly? So I meditate a lot, and I took this question into meditation several times, and clearly I wasn't ready for the answer because I was too invested in my anger. And the good thing about being in the space of anger is that it drove me to take action in a way that I hadn't taken it before. More consistent action, more consistent participation in the civil rights movement, more consistent petitioning, calling, emailing, participating, making our voices known, and in these different arenas and pockets of what's happening in the civil rights movement that's happening right now in this history that we are all contributing to and creating. And so I want to share this. I was in this space of anger and rage and truly just so angry. And then I'm like, okay, I feel very disconnected from myself because I had worked so hard throughout my life to get myself to a place of joy and love. And I felt like I was so rooted there, and then I got uprooted. And the truth is, I didn't get uprooted. I just moved my energy from the roots into another part of my tree being, so to speak. So I wasn't necessarily uprooted. My energy was just in different places. And I took this to meditation, and this is going to sound kind of woo-woo, and I'm not going to explain it. If you get it, you get it. If you don't, that's okay too. It doesn't change the point of this particular message. So here's my anger and my rage. Here's this beautiful pool of love. And then I saw the anger submerging into the love, and then it was like how planet Earth has this really hot core, and the hot core is what creates this kind of biosphere outside of the realms of the earth and allows the energy to expand beyond. So this anger and this rage kind of went into this pool of love, and then this pool of love just kept expanding using this space of anger and rage as its core. And then by doing that, I was able to go, oh, my love is expanding, actually. I needed to sit in the anger and the rage in order to expand my love for all people, truly. Because when we are disconnected from our natural state of love, we are also disconnected from our humanity. When we are participating in negativity, in the fear of the unknown, because someone else thinks differently, lives differently, participates in their life differently, votes differently than we do, when we participate in hatred, we are actively disconnecting ourselves from love and from our own humanity. It wasn't truly until I got to a place where I'm like, oh my gosh, I love myself, that I was able to look at other humans with those same eyes of love, because I recognized I'm a human deserving and worthy of love. I'm going to give it to myself. And then I went, oh my gosh, you are also a human deserving and worthy of love. I'm going to give it to you. And that should not change whether they fit into a specific category that you don't necessarily understand. So my encouragement for you during this month of July, during this week, during this time, is to keep reminding yourself that there's no point in cultivating negativity, fear, or hatred. There's literally 0 point. Not only is it detrimental to your own mental and physical health, but it's also detrimental to our planet, to our greater global human race, right? And so this is the time where we have to, like James Baldwin said, know who we are and let the world reckon with that. Go back to a place of love here first and foremost, and then extend that love outward. If we find ourselves bumping against moments of fear, acknowledging that, because we cannot change what we're not aware of, right? Acknowledging that, and then doing the work in terms of our own education and our own growth to dissolve those fears, to dissolve that negativity, to dissolve that hatred, so that we can return to our natural state of love. Because I don't mean to sound corny, but it's about to happen. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. And we can't do that if we're constantly pitting us versus them, if we're putting ourselves into categories and saying people need to fit these categories, and then we can't do that if we're not willing to participate first here in this love, and then in doing the work outside of ourselves, whether that is educating, whether that is being a part of the movement, whether that is telling people that you love and care for them, whether that is listening and asking questions and growing and learning and expanding, right? And so what the world needs now is love, sweet love, and it has to start with us. So I had to, in order to get back to my space of love, deal with my anger and rage and recognize that it doesn't need to go away, because as a human who wants to be rooted in love, I get to say that injustice, that inequality, that oppression angers me. And so then I take that anger, I submerge it in my love, and then I operate from that place, right? And it makes that love that much more amplified, that much more active. So long as it's love. So long as it's love, because truly negativity, fear, hatred, it ain't doing nothing for nobody. So we just got to check ourselves and do better. That's it. I love you because you are deserving and worthy as a human. And I know that because I learned how to love myself deserving and worthy as a human. And that's all I have for you. I hope you got something from this. Holla at me. I'm not on social media this month, but you can send me an email. You can put it in the comments. Give it a thumbs up. Send it to your people. Share it. Talk about it. I don't know. Do you? And subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. All right. I love you. I appreciate you. And I'll see you next time. Peace.